So there we go. So I've already hit record. I don't have a fancy intro other than welcome to the
Thank
CrossFit
you.
Canada podcast and a place for Canadian affiliate owners and coaches. And today we have one of both, as well as a member of your Canadian crew seminar staff, the elusive. And I always feel like such an Anglophone speaking to the Quebec affiliate owners and coaches, because I'm guessing it's like Valerie Boileau. Is
Oh,
that
close enough.
okay? Close enough,
You
but
you went for it with the accent too.
instead of like Valerie Boileau.
Well, I find that when English people try to say my name in French, it just sounds really angry, like Valérie Boileau.
Uh-huh. Exactly. But anyway, Val, introduce yourself, your affiliate, where you are, and we'll go from there.
All right, I am Valerie Boileau. I am from CrossFit de l'Ouest, which is in the West Island of Montreal. And I've been co-owner. I've been involved with this gym for just over 3 years, co-owner for about 2 years now. It was like a post-COVID situation,
Yeah.
and yeah, been coaching since 2014.
Coaching since 2014,
Yeah,
staff member since
2018.
okay, staff member since 2018, and a new mom since.
February 3rd,
So you just packed a lot in the past like
10
5
months
years.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since I hit 30 years old, it was like something new every year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I always, before we kicked off about talking about interesting things, I honestly always find people's stories about how they found CrossFit interesting. So that's where I always like to start.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first CrossFit workout and what got you into it and any of that stuff?
Yeah, well, actually, I started CrossFit a very long time after I actually received a gift certificate to try CrossFit.
Okay.
I did kinesiology in university, and I became a personal trainer in my early 20s. And the global gym I was working from was literally 100 meters away from a CrossFit gym. And back then, even as a trainer in a global gym, I wasn't a big fan of putting my clients just on machine that did the movement
Mm,
for them, and I just like I was counting reps, and I was like, "Man, this is boring," And so I would always just look up stuff on YouTube and take them upstairs in the group classroom and do kind of like circuit stuff. I didn't know what I was doing back then, but I knew that if my clients were going to pay an hour to spend time with me and get fitter and healthier, I wanted to make sure that they had fun, they did challenging things, and that they weren't just like sitting on machines,
yeah.
isolating muscle groups.
Talking,
And
they're
so,
paying to talk to you for an hour.
yeah, no, that's it. And so I would take them up in the group classroom and we would do all sorts of stuff that we weren't allowed to do in the global gym section anyway, like jump rope, throwing things on the wall. Um, anyways, and so the guy I was with at the time got me a gift certificate to try this CrossFit gym that was right beside. And he
Mm,
said, you should go try the CrossFit gym for a month. And then whatever you do at the CrossFit gym, you can just copy that and do it with your clients. So that was the initial plan. But
okay.
I never went to the CrossFit gym until a long time after because I thought what a lot of people think. I thought I really needed to get fit before starting CrossFit.
Sure.
Anyways, I ended up trying CrossFit over there, and I was like, it was a game changer the moment I did my free trial. Drank the Kool-Aid very quick. I come from a sports background, so I was always someone very competitive that loved playing sports, playing team sports. And then I had kind of lost that starting university and starting working, and I wasn't playing those team sports anymore. And I got into global gyms because that's what everybody was doing. So,
Sure.
but I didn't love it. And in CrossFit, I was able to find, like the same passion I had for competitive sports and team sports, but for me, it like became my favorite kind of individual team sport.
Sure.
And
You're in a group, but still able to perform as an individual, more or less.
exactly. But it feels like a team thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. What was your first CrossFit workout, if you
I
recall?
so I know that back when I was in CEGEP, do you know what CEGEP? You guys don't
No.
have that in Ontario. So
No.
it's like a school that's in between high school and university.
Okay.
Uh, I my phys ed teacher did CrossFit and
Okay.
took me through Filthy 50. That was my first CrossFit workout. But it was done in the school gym. So, instead of knees to elbow from a rig, it was, those machines that your elbows are on, and then you just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
tuck your knees, and then it was yeah, it was so Filthy 50 was my first exposure to CrossFit, which was long before I joined a CrossFit gym.
Okay, so you got exposed to Filthy 50 in your kind of gap program between we have like it used to be in Ontario OAC, which was like grade 13.
Yeah, that would kind of be it.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I was the year before me was the last year in Ontario that they had OAC, but you got introduced and you get to Filthy 50 and then kind of went through university professionally. And then do you
Yeah.
remember what your first affiliate workout was?
So I don't remember exactly the workout, but I remember that there was some handstand walks,
Okay.
and I had to do my scaling option because I didn't know how to handstand walk. I was gonna have to do bear crawl. And bear crawl for little mid 20-year-old, very not confident Valerie that had to walk around a gym with my bum in the air higher than my head, and I had to walk like that, and that was going to be my workout, part of my workout, my scaling
Yeah,
option, in front of other people. uh so it was super humbling in all sorts of ways, but also very exciting because back then, coming from the world of global gym where I felt like the emphasis was always on aesthetics,
sure.
and that really wasn't talking to me. And then you go in this gym where the emphasis is way more on like what your body can do and performance. That switch uh got my like fire burning again for just training.
Yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of times nowadays everyone's thinking about like something to train for, and High Rocks is becoming more popular. A for it to be an event, but it's giving some people things to focus on. But
Yeah.
it sounds like for you, it was like, oh, I'm able to just train for fitness because it's filling that gap that I've been missing from sports from beforehand.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why I didn't stay in the world of global gyms for a really long time because, you walk in those gyms and it's just mirrors everywhere, and everybody, kind of wears their own headsets and
Yeah.
does their own thing, and everybody's just looking at themselves in the mirror, focusing on everything they wish they could make look different about their bodies. And I felt it was really uh it just wasn't it was making me lose my love for exercise. And then you walk in a CrossFit gym and it's like your goals that were all about numbers on the scale or fitting in a certain size pants, they turn into like, well, I'd like to have a body weight clean. Back in the day, body weight
Yeah.
clean would be very exciting. I want to do a strict pull up. I want to do like, don't even think about a ring muscle up. You'll never do that. But you have those little goals that you set for yourself that you want to accomplish, and that's way more motivating than aesthetic goals.
Yeah, you get that like gratification, but then it also leaves you like hungry for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you you were a personal trainer before trying CrossFit. Was the bridge into coaching as natural as it may seem? Like where you're just like, oh, I'm already training people. Why don't I just become a coach? Or did it take a little while for you to either a build the confidence, build the skill set, or be like kind of pushed in that? Did you have to be pushed in that direction?
So I always, two things I always loved were, exercise in general,
Yeah.
sports, training, and teaching is always something I loved doing. And that's why I got into kinesiology. I wanted to my initial goal was to teach phys ed in Cégep
Okay.
in uh I'm not sure how to say it in English or
Yeah.
the yeah, anyways, and that was the initial goal when I became a personal trainer. But then when I got into CrossFit and I right away, showed interest in like what does it take to coach a class and took my L1, which was it's a game changer. If you've done your L1, you know that you can't necessarily say exactly everything that happened over the course of the weekend because it's just like so much information, but you know that you walk out of your L1 and you're like, "Oh my god, I want to be a coach. I want to be the best coach possible."
Where did you do your level one, and who are the red shirts at it?
So I did my L1 at CrossFit YUL, formerly Reebok CrossFit YUL.
Yep.
So it was my home gym back then.
Okay.
My it was Jason McDonald, Mathieu Dubreuc, and oh, I'd have to find the picture. There was a girl from the States. Oh, I don't remember her name because back then they always flew in a girl from the States to do
Okay.
the L1. I'd have to find the picture. I know I have it somewhere. Because I at that L1, there was also Pete Shaw.
Oh, like attending.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Pete Shaw was attending with me.
What aside from again being just blown away, like what stood out? And I mean, especially like someone like was had you met Doobie beforehand? Because I think anyone who's listening to this at least has probably either had a seminar with you and Doobie together.
Yeah.
So you guys become coworkers, but also like two people who just love training. So
And
had
love
you,
talking about CrossFit.
yeah, and talking about CrossFit and all that stuff. Like, so had you met Doobie beforehand? Um,
I I don't think so. I don't
okay,
think so. I feel like I should give you a better answer. I feel like I should know that, but no, Matt and I started um so back then Reebok CrossFit YUL was hosting a lot of the level ones.
okay,
And being very passionate about the whole thing, the methodology, the L1. I was back then manager of that gym, so every time we hosted a level 1, I wanted to be point of contact, and I would just listen and take notes the whole seminar every time.
yeah,
I must have attended like 10 level 1s,
right.
and so that's how I became, I don't wanna say closer to Matt, but he became more of an acquaintance that I would see every time he would come over for the L1s.
Yeah, and a guy's local and things like that.
Yeah,
No different than you guys coming up to our gym when we've
yeah.
hosted level ones and level twos. So then something I am curious about because so YUL, it's a lot more kind of what more center Montreal. Was it a more
It's also in
predominant
the West Island. They're also in the
West?
West Island. Yeah,
Okay, in the West Island. Is
yeah.
it a more predominantly English gym or is it kind of a mix of both?
Well, the
And
West Island in general is very bilingual
okay,
with a bias to English,
okay.
which is the reason why I can speak English, but
Yeah.
I'm very French.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at was being able because I agree in the sense that being point of contact at my own affiliate hosting seminars and even to anyone listening as an affiliate owner or coach, like just apply. Like you never know, you might get chosen to host, but you just get to sit and be a fly on the wall. And so was it an opportunity for you to like ingest the material over and over again, but also to hear it in English to like to build your confidence in coaching in English?
Yeah, well, the beauty of seminars hosted in Montreal is that they're translated.
Okay.
So I was getting the information in French and English, which made it even easier for me to assimilate. But you know this because you've hosted multiple level ones. Every time you host and or attend a level one again, you understand another layer of the methodology, and
Mm.
you know, every time I attended it, every time I hosted, I would learn something new, and I would ask also a lot of questions, probably more than I should as a someone who's not a participant and just a point of contact. But I
Yeah.
was super involved, and I every time whatever staff came to give the L1 during the weekend, I I was like, I'm here if you need anything, and I was just so grateful to have them. And I think that's why at some point Matt was like, "Hey, you should maybe like apply to do an internship to be on seminar staff." And I was like, "Oh no, 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 no. I'm not that level. I'll never be good enough for that."
And yet here we are. But
Well,
the
that's
wise
thanks to
man,
Matt. That's
yeah,
thanks to Matt because Matt is the one that said that after one level one, where another level one, where he saw me just like listening and taking notes all weekend. He's like, "Yeah, you might get an email this week." And I was like, "Oh, about what?" He's like, "Yeah, you might get an email from Dave Castro asking you to, if you want to do an internship to be on seminar staff." He's like, "Just say yes." And I was like, "No, Matt, I'm not ready." He saw something in me that I never believed I would be a good candidate to do.
yeah. And did it happen? Did you get the email that week?
I got the email. When you open an email from it was Dave Castro, Nicole Carroll, and you open that and you read it and you're like, this can't be real.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what so you and as instructed, as someone who follows instructions well, you replied yes, absolutely. And what was because we actually haven't had, the I know the in that case the intern program and now the
Yep.
candidate program. I think it is still very like unknown. But what was your first weekend like as an intern?
Yeah, so back in the days, the way the internship worked, I hope I'm allowed to talk about this. First internship, you were just gonna observe a level one.
Yeah,
And then second internship, you were going to teach one movement in each small group. So in like the squad group, the flow master would teach that would run the group through the air squat, maybe and then let you do the front squat and they would do the overhead squat. They would do that for and then you got some feedback if they were happy with what you did, or if they give you feedback on stuff to improve on, but they still saw that you had the potential,
sure.
they would move you on to a third internship where you had the opportunity to see if you could apply feedback and if you had improved, and then you would teach a little bit more. So example, in the press group you would teach the strict press and the push press, and each
Okay.
internship you had a bit more responsibilities. And what would dictate if you moved on to the next internship is if you showed, well, that you knew your stuff, if you were proficient at teaching, seeing, correcting in the breakout groups, and also if you were able to uh, build positively on the feedback you had received in your previous internship.
What's what was valuable for you in that process in being able to teach aside from the challenge or the intimidation maybe but is going and teaching, let's say, the push press. Do you recall what was valuable for you to learn as a coach to be able to get that feedback as well?
Well, I mean, definitely you when you start the internship, you need to know on top of your head like points of performance, progressions, all everything that comes to teaching the knowledge, you have that way dialed in. And
Yeah,
then the the challenge when it comes to the breakout groups is making sure that you are there's a flow of teaching, seeing, correcting in an environment where you have a group of 10 people that you have move at the same time. It's not
Mhm.
one on one, you know? And so it's making sure that everybody gets seen, corrected, improved on their mechanics, that every point of performance you see everyone, that you call multiple reps, and that all the reps that you call, that you are doing something with it. You're not just calling reps to call reps and to make people move at the same time. There's a purpose, right?
Yeah. And I know, I guess what I mean is like I'm only assuming and the feedback you get is like a pressure cooker where it teaches you to be a lot more efficient and effective
Hmm.
with your teaching, seeing, and correcting.
Yeah.
And the hard part is doing less, but being more effective with it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, depending on the feedback you get, what they want to see is that, because they don't want to hire seminar staff that are necessarily uh, perfect coaches from the get-go. They want to hire trainers that have the ability to like take feedback, go do their homework, go work on the tools to improve, and then show up and give a better version. So there's that constant like feedback loop and all constant like you get feedback, you build on it, and you're constantly improving. That's what they want to see that you're able to demonstrate.
And then now, because like I think it, how much does that carry over to say like when you get to run the level two weekends? Because the level two is always just the second like groundbreaking and life-changing weekend for
Yeah.
coaches who are passionate about this. But sometimes that feedback is it's not that it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. And sometimes it maybe is the first time a coach is hearing just the truth.
Hmm.
But to your point is like, hey, I'm going to offer you feedback. I'm not expecting you to be perfect. I'm just seeing if you can apply the feedback that I'm giving you.
Yeah. And there's definitely an art to deliver feedback in a way that is going to be not just well received, but that the person receiving the feedback is going to feel empowered by it and not like it's a judgment of their character, you know. And we always say when we break the ice at the level two that just the fact that they are taking their level two, just the fact that they want to improve on their coaching says a lot about them already. And I think that if you're a very uh, dedicated, passionate coach, dedicated to improving your athletes' overall experience, performance experience, then you also have a level of awareness of your areas of improvements. And if you enter the level two weekends, like, yeah, I'm here to improve on those areas that I need to get better at, then the feedback becomes something that you embrace and not something that you take negatively.
Yeah, and I think sometimes maybe for because there might be some because you're an affiliate owner as well now, and you know you were saying before we hopped on here you had to do some evaluations and feedbacks to your own coaches.
Yeah.
So sometimes um, affiliate owners when they want to start doing some version of evaluations or just informal feedback, whatever that looks like, it can be intimidating, and sometimes it can actually be if not applied correctly sometimes even a negative experience.
Yeah.
But it's often because we want to keep the feedbacks objective feedback that's kind of black and white versus maybe subjective feedback, which can, if we start to sway that way, that's where things can go offline. So, how would you help someone keep feedback objective versus subjective?
Well, for us, the way we run it here is we meet all the coaches one on one, and we have them before we meet them, we have them fill up a self evaluation sheet where they have the 6 areas of effective coaching. And for each area, they have they have to fill up what their strengths are and what they feel like they can improve on for each
Mhm.
area. And when we meet them, they're the ones doing the talking. And I find it creates, a culture where it comes from you. You tell us first what you think that you're good at and what you think you should improve on. And very often, we don't need to tell our coaches like you need to improve on this. They know it just to going through that those 6 criterias, and we gave them obviously the level 2 material to explain a little bit what each area entails, and then they can kind of look back at their own classes and see like, oh, it's true that when it comes to group management, like everybody listens to me, my classes are on time, but I definitely don't plan enough transition time between uh, the strength and the medcon, and then I always end up with people just going to the bathroom whenever they feel like it. So by having them filling it up themselves, uh, they bring up the stuff that they know they need to improve on, and then it's
Mhm.
easy for us to give them tools because there's already it like how can I say that? It disarms and it
Yeah.
makes it more of a conversation. I think it's also important as affiliate owners to nurture a healthy culture of feedback amongst your coaches where feedback is something that is positive. Feedback is not what you're doing wrong because we also all tell each other what we're doing great and we all take each other's classes and we'll have conversations. I love what you did in the warm up. I'm going to use that when I coach this class, or hey, that cue that you used with that member, I never used that cue and it really fixed that position. And so I think it all starts with the culture you create amongst your staff, where if everyone is growth oriented, the
Yep.
word is,
Yep.
then and we're all here to grow together, to be better together, and to offer the best experience possible for our members, then it can only be positive, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, like participate in the thing that you're coaching in, aka classes,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's what brought us all into CrossFit in the first place. And
yeah.
even as much as all of us may love to work out or find it easier to work out on our own, is it's better to be in a class, A, to get a good workout in, but B, maybe to steal something from the coach,
Learn from one another,
or
yeah.
yeah, learn from one another, and then create that ecosystem of just very informal. Hey, that was really great. Here's something that helps me. Maybe give that a try, and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So then, but I want to go back to then, like for coaches developing, because as you said, you had the opportunity to be at Reebok YUL at the time and just sit and listen to the level 1 material over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Do you, and maybe you see it or don't see it, but do you think the level 1 guide could be read more by coaches, as opposed to, I just mean like instead of just doing the level 1 and then moving on and keeping it on the shelf?
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. The level 1, and I think that even beyond that, I think a lot of members that have no interest in coaching would benefit so much of reading the level 1 material. I think it
What do
has so much value.
Yeah, and I guess like and as you said, like you got to hear something and you're like, oh, I finally understand that. I was actually just telling a coach during a feedback session the other day. It was like there's the video of Greg Glassman at actually Reebok One giving like the what is CrossFit, what is fitness, even the technique lecture in like one big video. It's
Yeah,
like I watch that like 3 times a year just to like, okay, do I understand this? Oh, now I get it.
yeah.
Right. But sometimes with social media, we can like want to find these Instagram coaches who maybe have these progressions, this or that. But the progressions are great, but the methodology and kind of really understanding how deep and dense it is just as important.
Oh, 100%, yeah, and that's also where as, um as a staff, I mean, you probably have a group chat for the coaches. All the time, we're going to exchange ideas and throw each other the balls on depending on what movements are coming up. We were just talking earlier about rowing efficiency and how
Mhm.
we should probably post a rowing tutorial video just to give coaches more tips to help the athletes move better, because often the cardio machine, the monostructural machines, we kind of just tell people like go on them because there's so much more to coach when it comes to barbell or body weight movements. But like everything needs to be coached. There's always an opportunity to improve on the mechanics, regardless of what the members are doing, from the general warm up all the way to the cool down stretches.
Because then you're providing value from start to finish too.
Well,
Right?
yeah, and you want your members that leave your classroom, yeah, you want them to have a good workout, you want them to be safe, uh you want them to leave feeling empowered, but you also want them to leave having learned a little something.
Hmm. So how would you suggest that a coach could do that or apply that without them feeling like they're nagging on someone? Like we could say, like, how could someone help with rowing technique without feeling like they're looking for what they're doing wrong instead of helping them improve with their efficiency?
Sometimes you can always rely on, all the coaches are different in a gym, all the coaches have different uh I guess different elements that they're better at coaching than others. And sometimes it's go find a coach that teaches rowing really well and pick their brain on
Mhm.
how they teach it, what's the drill that they make. And just by asking a coach for advice, tips and tricks, maybe that coach eventually will come to you to ask you tips on like, hey, how do you break down the snatch and the warm up? Like how do you choose which progression to give and what do you look for? And I think it's just again it comes down to, and it needs to be done as a team, everybody wants to you want your staff to be curious, and you want your staff to want to know more about movements and know what are the other than the main points of performance of the main movements, like how can they go get a little bit more information on different nuances of movements so that they can
Mhm.
always uh, just be of better service to the members.
So then okay, I love that because there may be some coaches listening who are like, yeah, like I'm not confident in Olympic lifting or I'm not confident in the muscle up. And so potentially what then happens is they try to sound like they know the thing by talking about it maybe a little too much.
Yeah.
What are some tips that a coach that would classify as maybe less confident that they could learn about a movement, but then apply it in a way that um, isn't going to have them feel self conscious about it?
Well, I find what helps a lot is researching the movement. There's when it comes to the ring muscle, that's also why I feel like the level one is such a great uh, resource. But CrossFit puts out so many great articles, just like on the YouTube channel, the movements. If you just like the .com, if you get the email of the day, the amount of articles there are on so many different movements. I think it comes down to like, as a coach, you can't just rely on what you know and just use what you know. Like you need to do the research and always try to improve your knowledge. The same way as CrossFitters were constantly trying to improve our fitness and how do we improve our fitness? Well, we improve our mechanics.
For sure, yeah. So then, how would
You need to
someone?
be curious.
Yeah, and then how can we? What are some tips, like again, taken from the level two, for them to take that knowledge and deliver it to a group?
A group of
Like
coaches
just the
or a
class,
group
like
of,
for their classes, like they're so if I'm a coach, I've researched a lot about the snatch.
yeah.
Now I got to stand up in front of my 4:30 class And what's some efficiency tips you have for running that class now and just being able to keep things
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
Well,
control?
here's the thing. If you are training consistently at an affiliate, chances are you're not just doing snatches once a month. So as a coach, you need to keep in mind that your athletes are going to be snatching, let's say, once a week, some form of snatch, whether it's dumbbell snatch, barbell snatch. So don't try to teach the movement from scratch with like all the points of performance and trying to get them to understand like everything about the mechanics. Choose a focus, and then work with them with what's going to be your focus for today. Like if
Mm,
you did some research and your focus today is really going to be that full leg extension or bar path, and then the drills are going to go around that, and the next time you work on the snatch, well, maybe you're going to spend a little bit more time working on the catch position, because if you try to teach too much, there's only so much your members can actually retain and start putting in practice. The same way, if you have your grandma come to the gym
mm.
and you want to teach her how to squat, you're not going to look at your grandma and be like, okay, grandma, so you're going to sit your hips back and down. You're going to make sure you keep the weight on the heels. Your knees are going to track the toes. You're going to break parallel while maintaining a neutral spine. Ready, grandma? And go. So it's the
Yeah,
same thing with you're going to choose, okay, today it's your mom. I don't know what kind of physical state your mom is, but maybe today you're gonna put a box behind her and you're gonna work on her sitting her hips back so she can go sit all the way on the box. And it's a high box. And
sure.
just like triage and know that it's a journey with your members.
Well, and then I think the last piece there, because I know you're a very expressive person and very animated, but like then when they do it, like you want to celebrate what they did right.
Absolutely. Good coaching is not just about correcting people and giving cues to improve mechanics. You need to like acknowledge what they're doing well, celebrate when there's improvements, get like excited with them when they're finally getting in like a right movement pattern, like whether it's a member that's been early pulling on their cleans for the longest time and there was a cue you gave them and it just like it clicked and now like they're keeping their arms long, like get excited about it. Get excited for
Yeah,
them, because if you're excited, if you're just constantly telling people what they need to improve on, well, then people are gonna just always think that they have stuff. They're just always gonna focus on how much they need to work on and improve, and not also take the time to appreciate and be fired up by how much they are improving and the things they're doing well.
yeah, and so like then that exactly like you can sit and spew the knowledge of triple extension and all that stuff, but if you can't see and verify, so the tell show do check, if we can't verify that they hit it, well
Yeah.
then how is the person going to be improving? So really the distill it down to like teach what you can see.
Yes. Teach what you can see, but then make sure you teaching is build on knowledge. So the more you improve your knowledge,
Yeah,
the better you're going to see. It all has a trickle down effect, right? From from teaching to seeing to correcting. You can't correct something that you don't see, and you
right.
can't see something that you don't know you should be looking for that. So you need to know what you're looking for, and that means you need to have the knowledge.
And then just keep
Yeah.
cycling around, cycling around, cycling around.
And then the next layer is making sure that even if you know what you're looking for and you know that there's a body part that's out of position, you need to have a variety of verbal cues, not just one, but maybe a couple of different verbal cues. You need some tactile cues and some visual cues because not everybody responds to the same kind of uh correcting. some
Mm,
some people are visuals. You need to show them how to do something. Some people, very often beginners that have not a lot of kinesthetic awareness, the tactile cues is really going to be the best way to get them in good position. And then some people, giving a body part a thing to do, quick verbal cue goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body part direction when.
Yes.
So for someone like yourself, then what keeps you excited about like both coaching and training, and constantly picking back into the knowledge?
I think it's the different kind of I coach a very wide variety of population, I guess
Yeah.
that's the word. So, from we have CrossFit kids, we have teens, but we also have seniors, the Prime Timers Club. We have postpartum moms. I have a dumbbells and diapers program. So we have uh, future moms, like so pregnant women, and then we have obviously general pop that comes to our classes. But we have I think that's what gets me excited is that throughout the week I'm gonna coach, let's say, whatever the workout is,
Yeah.
call it filthy 50, and I'm gonna coach filthy 50. Filthy 50, I can have my 87-year-old Linda do it, just like I can have, my postpartum mom that's gonna do it with probably the baby in her carrier. And, there's all the different ways you can modify and apply the methodology very specific to the needs and the level of the person you have in front of you. That I
Yeah.
love. I love just adapting the methodology to the individual, regardless of their level of experience, regardless of their physical limitation. It's so empowering for people to be part of a class where they're they're doing the thing with everybody else, it's
Yeah.
adapted to them. And I've been through it myself. I worked out all the way till the day I broke my water, which didn't happen at the gym, by the way. Close call, but it didn't happen at the gym.
That's the win. Do you think, not to get too far down a rabbit hole on this, but do you think people maybe overthink those classes? Like, because I think programs are a little bit more widely known now, whether it be like a seniors class, is I think where a lot of gyms go towards, and then the mom and baby. But and I guess when I say overthink them, like as opposed to, it's like, no, just take all of them through the workout of the day and learn how to scale that group appropriately to the workout of the day, as opposed to feeling like you need this special and incredible program just for seniors and this special pelvic floor health program. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to just smart and effective scaling for everyone.
No, if honestly, the all the women that are in my seniors program, if they wanted to join a regular class, they could, and I would
Yeah.
scale the same way I would. Same thing for my postpartum moms that are on mat leave. The reason why we bring them together is there's I especially when it comes to seniors, I have about 10, and they're all women,
Yeah.
and they kind of became, there's I think it's important for them to uh, be around peers.
Yeah.
And that this group that I started, now they go for brunch all together once a month, and a lot of them are what's the word in English? The widows.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and so they become, there's it's just added value that we offer them a space where they can all be together. And it's also, when it comes to seniors, we like to keep them together because they could come to a regular class,
Sure.
but they might not love, the really loud music and the barbells dropping. So, and same thing for the moms, they come with the babies. So we just want to create an environment where they can all bring their babies, and there's but we're still doing CrossFit. We're still doing the same thing we're doing in
Yeah.
the other class. Is just when we have all the moms together, no one's uncomfortable, in between a set to whip out a boob to feed the baby, or, change a diaper in the middle of the classroom.
Yeah.
So the environment is just more uh, uh copious,
Supportive.
conducive
Yeah.
to making everyone comfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, I was gonna say hold a crying baby, but whipping out the boob is helpful as well. But yeah, but no, you're right. Like I think, yeah, like it's this kind of like finding this middle ground where yes, we know we can scale effectively. Yes, we want to make sure that CrossFit is for anyone, and a senior can come to class just like a postpartum woman can, but maybe that baby is just extra fussy that day. That's going to make someone self-conscious. They're going to worry that the baby's going to disrupt someone's class, and
Yeah,
it's just so much more comfortable when they know like one of the other moms is just going to pick the baby up without thinking about it so that they
exactly.
can finish their workout, right? And so the value in having these specialized classes is not creating a program that's special of them, but it's creating like representation in the peers.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I mean, uh, we have those programs, but we also have we also have seniors that come to the regular classes,
Right.
and we have moms that are on maternity that come to the regular classes. It's not because you're a mom and you have a baby, you can only come to this class, or
Yeah.
because you're a senior, you can only come to the senior class. We actually have a lot of seniors that are part of the regular classes because they like the loud music, they want to throw a barbell around, and
Get after it.
but at least they have the option, you know.
That's right. As we know, it's not for everyone, but it is for anyone.
Yes.
And on that note, three, two, one, time.